record. Say yes. Hello and welcome to the Young Entrepreneur Syndicate. Thank you for tuning in. Thanks for being here. If you're not here, thanks for listening to this recording. I know a number of you sent messages back that you were going to listen to the recording. It is still family time. It's the day after Christmas 2023. That's for posterity. Really looking forward to getting into 2024. And this will be a fairly brief call because I want to be on task and on point, and I want the homework to go home with you or resonate with you without clouding it up with a bunch of things. Although for those that are on the call, if you've got questions, things you want to bring up, I'm happy to take those and take those questions and give you some answers. So let's do that. All right. The topic for tonight is taking the offense in 2024 and going all in. So I'm right now currently reading a number of books. I've got my Grant Cardone books I'm still reading. I've got some David Meltzer stuff. I just got one shipped to me, Faith for Exiles by David Kinnaman from one of my other clients. So I'm looking forward to reading that. I'm in a state right now of understanding that 2024 is going to be a very challenging year. And what I mean by that, it is no secret that politics play a major role in our success in business and what happens as the economy ebbs and flows. And we've seen a number of changes in, the economy, whether you want to call it a recession right now, lack of employees for jobs, too many employees, whatever it looks like. Understanding that 2024 is going to be a very challenging year because of the political process, I believe is step number one right now to taking the offense in 2024. Okay. And I want to say right up front, do not be a victim next year of what's happening in politics and around the country. This is going to be very similar to what we saw in 2007 with the recession, what we saw in 2010 and 11 with things going on, what we saw during COVID, what we saw during the new election with Biden. Next year, there's going to be all kinds of disruptions in our economies and around the world. Don't allow that to distract you from what your goals are and what you're going to be doing and accomplishing in your business. So you've got a few days so that you've got a clean starting point. Lots of people like to start the first of the year. I'm fine with using that as the line in the sand for right now, but spend the next few days figuring out how you're going to put yourself on the offense for next year and what that looks like. And I'd like you to look at your entire picture of things. What does your home look like? What does your current financial situation look like? What do you have in the bank? What needs do you need met next year? Do you have any major financial investments next year that you need to plan for? Do you have any investments that maybe you need to reconsider based on what's going to be happening in the economy and in politics next year? And start making your shifts early on. I've got a business consulting client that we spent the last 6 months working back and forth with his retail business. And we've made a lot of headway. But in the last couple months, what I've seen is a lot of indecisiveness as far as his future direction with his business, which is fine to try to change your direction. But in the process of going back and forth, you're losing valuable time and energy to build your business or get out or whatever your decision is going to be. Now, in a normal year per se coming up, that might be okay. You might survive the ebbs and flows of indecision. But I guarantee you going into next year, if you're indecisive about what you want to do, you will not have the luxury of waffling back and forth. So I would highly recommend that you go all in on what your goals and objectives are for next year and start that ASAP. Again, we'll call it the first of the year, January 1st, because you're going to be combating a lot of exterior motives and challenges outside of your business. That's all to say that I'm a firm believer that whatever it is that you're passionate about, whatever it is that you are doing or want to do, that you have every opportunity in the world to succeed at that. if you're passionate about it. There is a market for the services that you provide. Otherwise, you wouldn't be in that business. You wouldn't be dreaming about that business. That business, when it exists already, it's just how much are you going to go after it? How much are you going to go on the offense for that business? So I've spent most of my day-to-day building out an offense plan for that client I just suggested that's been waffling back and forth. I'm going to give them some very specific goals which they can target and focus on to be on the offense in their business this Friday. And it will be a matter of them making the decisions of what works for them and what they're willing to say yes to and move forward on. None of them are out of the realm of what they can do already, what resources they have, but it's about being very pointed in the direction that they're going based on my 6 months of observing and helping. And that's the value of having an outside consultant or coach. I also say that for this group, you have an opportunity to present your challenges in this group to the leadership to get through those hurdles and allow us the time and energy to help walk through those things with you. And we'd be happy to do it. So in this case with my client, what I did again, because once you've been working with somebody or you've been looking at something too long, think about this in your own circumstances, you start to get into a rut. You stop seeing the obvious things that could change or make a difference. So it's great to sit back, look at your business from afar and go, okay, what am I missing here? So in my case, I said, okay, I'm a consultant for this business. I've been here 6 months. What am I missing? Where can I bring more value? What do I need to tell them now that they need to change, or what can I direct them to do to make a substantial change in their business for the positive, right? It would be easy to get in a rut and not bring that extra value, but I stepped aside from it and looked at it from different perspectives. Wow, I came up with 2 pages worth of content to meet with them on Friday, ways that they can make more money, clear their objectives, lighten the fat, be very specific in what they're doing. So I'm asking you to do that for yourselves. If you're a web-based business and that's where your clients see everything that you do, look at your website, clean the fat out, bring the important things to the homepage. So when somebody pops on your website, the first thing they see is exactly what you want to be doing next year. Be hyper-focused on what you do and where you're going so that your clients see that first. They can find the other things later. But without that clear direction, they're not going to know where to go. And if you know, because you've analyzed in the next few days what's important to you, what's going to give you the advantage in a terrible market next year, then you need to bring that to the front. Otherwise, you won't benefit from it. Just to backtrack a little bit, part of what put me in this mindset, again, as I mentioned, I've got all kinds of reading going on because me being on the offense is learning new skills, learning from other people in business, listening to what they're doing right now. Matter of fact, I was on a coaching call earlier today with David Meltzer, who many of you know I've had a long-term relationship with him. And when I say I was on a coaching call, I was able to listen to him coach other people. And it's amazing how unclear people are with their goals and objectives, listening to them as an outsider going, wow, good for them that they've taken a step to have a coach. But I'm astonished on how far away they are from their actual goals and objectives. And thank goodness that they have Dave to drive them back to home. It was great to see Dave and hear his coaching style and how he hasn't changed in all the years that I've known him. Very clear. So part of my motivation today was just listening to others and where their struggles are, and not to allow this group to have those same struggles to get more clarity moving forward. But one thing that I did notice in Dave's portion of the discussion was he was talking about, where are you going next year? How do you get ahead in your own business? Same thing goes for a lot of the emails that I've seen this week from colleagues or people that I look up to. If any of you follow Andy Frisella, I see Jim's on the call now. He's launching a new book January 1st, and he was taking pre-orders, right? Now, that's a pretty common thing in the business of, selling something. But even somebody at the top of their game, worth hundreds of millions of dollars, that grinds it out every day, puts out a podcast, 4 or 5 times a week, even somebody like that is getting ahead of the curve And we know why he's successful. He's getting ahead of the curve to do pre-sales on his book, right? Because he knows, I want to be on the offense. He didn't just launch and go, hey, my book's launched, everybody go online and buy a copy, which he could have easily done and probably still sold a bunch. But what I'm noticing, people that I respect in business that are making a difference, they're all on the offense this week leading into the next year. And they're all talking about what a shit show it's going to be next year as well. Okay. So a couple things to think about in order to be on the offense. First thing, think about your relationship capital. Now you've got a huge value right here in this group of relationship capital. And if you don't know what that means is, what that means is people that you've built relationships with or that you're in connection with that can help bring value to your business and your plans. Once you've established who those people are, look for that value with value exchange with them. They can exist on your LinkedIn account, your Facebook, your Instagram, your TikTok, coaching groups like this one. They could just be a part of your email network or past business relationships. But think about your relationship capital and how you will utilize that in a value for value scenario moving into next year. And with that, I'll add, don't be afraid to ask. We've talked about this before as a soft skill, not being afraid to ask. We're all willing to offer help and support. We all do it. Hey, if you need any help, let me know. I'm here for you. And I think we genuinely mean that. Well, if we're all so willing to help, why aren't we equally as willing to ask for help when we need it? Look at your relationship capital, figure out what your needs are, and don't be afraid to ask for help. Even if that just means a lead for a new client, a suggestion, or hey, can you look over my work? I'm not sure how I feel about it. Could it be better? Do you see any holes? There's a place where I can change or manipulate that based on your expertise. So don't be afraid to ask for help. You might just need it next year. There's 3 phases of ramping up your business on the offense. One, I would say invest. And invest in whatever that looks like. Some of you, that could just be hard dollars that you're investing to make that business either start. I know we've got a startup business, a couple of people with startups in this group. So maybe that's the investment. Maybe it's actually capital. It might be an investment of your time. It might be more time than what you're used to giving it because that's what's required right now. But look at how you're going to invest in your business to be on the offense. For me, a good example of how I'm going to invest, it's going to be time. I have all the other tools in place. It's going to be the amount of time I want to commit to growing my business on the offense in 2024. Clear and simple. Time for me. Think about what that investment looks like for you. Financial investments to a business that's already going. It might be improve your equipment to make you more efficient. It might be invest in your website to make it work better. It might be in social media ads, Facebook ads, whatever that looks like, or it might just be you're starting your business and it's time to invest. Okay. So once you've decided what that investment looks like and what it is, now it's time to execute that. Build the execution around that investment. Don't set aside, $1,000 for social media ads and not turn the switch on for those ads until March or April. I would highly recommend that you build out a programming calendar immediately if that's how you're going to invest some dollars, and that's in advertising, whatever it is, whether it's social media, traditional TV, radio, etc. If you're going to invest in marketing dollars, build out a programming calendar and execute that. Don't delay. Because if you can get ahead in the early months of 2024, by the time the real storm hits, I'm guessing that's going to be around June. By the time that storm hits, you're going to have 6 months of momentum into what's going to be a terrible year. And then hopefully you've got that momentum to carry you through the election cycle into 2025. It's not too soon to be thinking about what your 2025 looks like right now. I was listening to a song last night. It was on Instagram. And I think it was Cody Johnson that was telling the story about he He's going to a Christmas party to see his mom, his parents, and he grabbed $20 bill out of his wife's wallet or wherever it was at, put it in the card, gave his mom and dad the $20 for Christmas. And on the drive home, the wife says, "Hey, you know, that was our last $20. Like literally their last $20. And the point was, if there's a George Strait song, it's "If I Could Only Last Until December," right? And so that was kind of their dialogue was, well, if we can only figure out how to last through December, we'll be okay. And he got home and he was checking the mail and he got his first 2 checks as being a songwriter, both for $2,500 each or something like that. The point of that is that if we can only get through 2024 and we start thinking about 2025, your business will thrive. I guarantee if you can get through 2024 with your business and your business models, however you change that, you will see long-term success. We're not going to see another year like 2024, probably for a long time. And if things all fall apart, then it's not going to matter in 2025. So let's just say if we can only get through to 2025, and I believe that we could all get through successfully accomplishing whatever we set out to do now with a plan that we invest and then we execute. And then the final thing is thriving and utilizing that equity on the other side of your execution, right? So if you're making money through your investment, your execution, take that money and look at how you can continue to thrive in your business, and don't make mistakes with your success. Look at how you reinvest and do more of what's working. Now, I'm not saying don't treat yourself at all. You know, maybe use the 3 bucket theory, right? Keep 5, give away 5, and save 5. You know, maybe you have your own method of you know, enjoying some of the fruits of your labor, but look at that equity and where you're thriving at and reinvest that and continue to build your business. That's how you're going to be on the offense in 2024. A line, as David being a reminder for me, a line that he always talked about, and this is important to write this down, is the consistent, persistent pursuit of your potential. The consistent, persistent pursuit of your potential. And if you really break that down, it's exactly what I'm talking about in this offensive strategy for 2024 is if you can consistently, right, with persistence, chase after your goals and what you're looking for, you will rise above the clutter. Okay. In 2007, most of you know, I raised a ton of capital and built a new business in 2007 in one of our worst financial collapses in the country. It's possible. I believe it. And during COVID, we saw some of the best successes in my business after moving to Montana during COVID, because I was pursuing something that I was passionate about and I believed in what I was doing. And I want to set you up for success next year to consistently pursue what your potential is and what you built for yourself. And if you're still building out what you think that looks like, really dive into that in the next few days and have a clear understanding so you hit the ground running come January. No excuses. If you need to put in 12-hour days, 15-hour days to do that in the next few, then I highly suggest you do it. Make it happen. This could be some of the most important steps you make leading into the next year and or for the future of your entire business. Now is the time to do it. So what's that going to take? Mindset. Get in the mindset that you will be successful next year, that your business will thrive and you will achieve what you set out to do right now. Mindset, so important. My line since I was 16 is, what you believe is what you will achieve. What you believe is what you'll achieve. From Mark Victor Hansen. He's the author from Chicken Soup for the Soul. I've always lived by that. And I use that motto as a barometer to get me right back on track, right? Oftentimes we just get caught in those ruts and you're like, wow, okay, this is all I'm going to ever have. Nope. If you believe that you can do and have more of that business, if you believe in that business, you will succeed, right? So it's all about mindset. Go back and listen to some of the recordings we did on mindset. Rod talked a lot about getting in the correct headspace this last year, right? Whether that's through meditation or through other resources, time away, writing down your goals. The list is long, but mindset is so critical to getting to the right place to be on the offense next year. And by the way, in business, I think that offense and defense are very close together. There's a fine line between the two. You can easily fall into the defense side of your business or in your life and all of a sudden go, wow, I'm chasing business now instead of, right, it chasing me. I want to build up my business so it's chasing me. Okay, and that's what offense feels like. Not chasing after it. You have the luxury of it chasing you. So get after the mindset to get you in that place. Critically important. With that, then you can look back to leverage your resources and multiply that. Okay, so now when you go back to your relationship capital, you've got the mindset, you've got your goals in play, you know exactly what you're going to invest, how you're going to execute, what thriving looks like for your business. You can go back to your relationship capital, and when you have those conversations with people that you're asking for help, or people that you're talking to about your business, or what you do, or your new clients, now they're going to see wholeheartedly that you believe in your business and where you're going, and they're going to want a piece of that, whatever that looks like for you. We all do something different, right? But if you're in the mindset, when the world is collapsing around people, literally, and you're that beacon of light in what you do, you will make a difference for them. You will make a change. They will want a piece of what you have. And we all offer a little something that will play a role next year. Just looking at people on the screen, Heidi offering health and fitness and well-being, right? Everybody's going to want a piece of that. Matter of fact, people that I've been talking to today, I said the most important thing we can do next year is be healthy. Because the healthier we are, we can combat the stress of everything that's going on around us. And how are you healthy? Through a fitness program, through diet, through mindfulness and awareness, all those things. Riley, you're on the call tonight. People will benefit from your future business. Yes, things will be tough. Yes, what you're talking about building is a retail business, but sometimes a little retail therapy will take people into the next week and change their mindset about how they feel of what's going on around them. You know, I lived that same life in the alcohol business, right? A $30 bottle of Kettle One, not that I agree with this 100%, but will change somebody's mindset to feel like, well, at least I can still splurge and enjoy some martinis on a Friday night, you know, by spending $30, right? So oftentimes what we're offering will help other people get into the right mindset, and they're willing to invest their time and money in you, right? So don't discount what you do. I mean, if I was still in California and I had a pool, everybody likes a clean pool, I'd call Wayne and say, hey man, I've let my pool go. Can you please do the luxury of cleaning my pool for me? By the way, for everybody, Wayne has a very successful pool business in California that he's been running for a long time. He has so many pools or so much business. He's always telling me how he's dropping more customers because he's got too many. So, you know, there's always something, if we've got the right mindset, that we can encourage people in what they're doing to get out of their funk. So don't let what's happening around us affect how you feel about your business and what you're offering. Be on the offense next year. Okay, Rod, I'll take your comments, and if anybody's got questions, I'll take those. And if there's not many, then we're going to wrap it up because I realize that many people are still in holiday mode. So go ahead, Rod.
Jim, thanks. I think this message is so timely, and I believe that people who are on this call tonight and listening to it later, this is a pivotal moment for your business right now. And going into next year, you're going to look back on this. You're going to think, man, we had that call back in, you know, you're going to be thinking about this in June or March, thinking we had that call last year. And it was prepping me for this moment right now that I'm ready to go through, right? There is stuff that is going to happen. How do I know that? Because stuff always happens. It's not just 2024. There's always something that's going to step up and get in your way. There just is. And it may be bigger this year. It may be different. It may seem bigger. It may seem more profound, but it's just something. That's part of that mindset. It's just another something. And we all deal with that. So just be clear on where you want to go. I think that's my takeaway from this. And Jim, you've been saying it, talking to your clients, you have to be clear on where you want to go. Number one, we want to get through this. Number one, we want to get through it and feel good about ourselves and feel good about what we're doing. And number three, we want to get through this and we want to be prosperous while we're doing it. We don't want to just struggle through this year. We want to prosper through this year. And I mean that mentally, physically, spiritually, emotionally. So I think your message is right on. And I'm actually going to do a shout out to Rob Bailey. He had a post on Instagram today. I don't know if any of you follow him, Kill Rob Bailey. And it was cutting wood. And I have to say, a couple of years ago, all I wanted to do was cut wood. I said, if I can get a job, a sideline thing in the morning, just chopping wood, I would be the happiest man in the world, because there's something satisfying about just hard work, getting it done, and knowing that there's going to be a payoff in the end. And that's what is in front of every single one of you listening to this and on this call tonight. There's hard work in front of you, and there's a payoff for it in the end. And that hard work is hard work. There's just no getting around it, but you can enjoy it. There's so much satisfaction in doing what you do and doing it well and doing it better than anyone else and knowing you're prepared. And so, Jim, this message is like an end of the year. It's like a summation of everything we've been talking about all year long. And it's also a preparatory message going into the next year. And I think it's just spot on. So my next thing is this. It's hard to be on all the time. When we get those hits and the knocks come, it's hard to stay upbeat. I know it is. And so do it in bursts. Number one, know it's going to be hard, and do it in bursts. You can't be 100% all the time. But I'm telling you what, if you show up and you're 100% while you're going, you can do it in bursts. You can do it in bursts. And I've got so many analogies that I could use for that. But if we can just focus, in fact, here's one right here. We always hear that, for people in business and employees, if you want to get ahead, show up early and stay late. And I've never been a fan of that. Never been a fan. And having been a supervisor in large organizations and involved in other organizations, I will tell you this. The people who show up early and stay late are often less productive than the people who come on, clock in, and just put their nose to the grindstone, get the work done, take their break, take lunch, take time for themselves, come back, do it again. And then they're out of there as soon as it's time to quit. And they're with their families and they're doing their activities or whatever. They can be more productive than the person who comes in early, stays late, because they're twiddling their thumbs all day and they're not focused. So know that. Go into this knowing there's going to be hard work involved, and do it in spurts if you have to. And take the breaks that you need to take to make sure you're staying strong. So that's my end of the year message. And the other thing you said, make sure you're asking for help. And think about it this way. For those of you who still have trouble asking, and I'm setting you up for questions right now, Jim, the best compliment that you can give someone is to ask them for help. That's a sincere compliment. That's Dale Carnegie, right out of How to Win Friends and Influence People. You want to influence somebody, ask them for help, because it's the best compliment you can give. You can say, look, I'm trusting you with my secret, my emotions, my fears. I'm trusting you with that information. And I think you've got enough whatever to help me through that. It's a sincere compliment. So compliment people by asking them for help. That's my takeaway for today. And I'll save the rest for another time. Thanks, Jim.
Yeah, thanks, Rod. Actually, I have a question for you, Rod, or at least I'd like you to share something with the group. And again, it's in the spirit of end of year and what we've been teaching this last year on these calls. We also taught it at that private high school and looking to teach it in the college system. And that is the soft skills. And what was interesting is that we talk a lot about soft skills in business on these calls, because I think, and Rod thinks as well as Rachel, that it's often overlooked. And there, equal amount of time we probably dig into entrepreneurial things that are become of value. But Rod, would you just tell us briefly what your research showed about the lack of teaching of soft skills in the collegiate system?
Yeah, it's what I've known from, I've been out of college now for decades. And I know what I didn't learn in college. I know that I learned more in my summer work paying for my college than I ever did in college courses. And that's not to say there wasn't some value in those courses, but I'm telling you the real value was outside of the halls of academia. So I've spent my entire adult life knowing that the degree I have is really just an acknowledgement that I've accomplished 4 years in an institution. It's like if you got out of prison and you're now no longer a felon. Look, I served my time, right? That's really all it's worth in the end, because it's the other things you learn that bring the most value to other people. And what I've been studying for not only my whole life, but really diving into is the academic portion, the actual curriculums that are taught in colleges, specifically around entrepreneurship, and then doing the research about what's not taught in those classes. So you can go to an Ivy League school and get a master's in entrepreneurship. And I can tell you exactly what you're not getting when you get that master's degree. And it's all the stuff that makes you successful. It's the thing that is different between someone who can get by and someone who excels. And it's not being taught in schools. It's not being taught in universities. It's being taught in venues like this, but not in a formatted, systematic curriculum that's being literally spoon-fed to people in an organized fashion that says, if you can take these skills and apply them, you will in fact be ahead of all your peers. And I did artificial intelligence. I guess that's the fun thing. I plugged all my stuff into artificial intelligence, started asking it questions, and it spit back out absolutely everything that I knew. And so it's not just me. The artificial intelligence, which is probably more intelligent than most of the people out there, is saying the exact same thing that we're teaching here. We're giving you the skills that you're not going to get anywhere else. And we are the people that are ahead of the curve, that are bringing the new information to the next generation. It's the people on this call. It's the people listening to this in the future who are going to be set up for success. And they're going to be setting up an entire generation behind us to rebuild whatever collapses, to rebuild the stuff that fails, to rebuild what AI didn't see coming, because we're the ones who are going to see it. We're still people. We still have that missing ingredient. And so all of you are that missing link that the world needs. And, for us to be able to get a handle on that and put something in place that moves it forward, we are all moving the dial. And that's kind of I guess that's a sermon. That really wasn't details. There will be more details coming. There will be more details coming, and it's going to be on the back end when I deal with college and how to get your kids successfully through that experience or ordeal and all that stuff. I'll turn it back to you.
Yeah, well, thanks for answering the question. The point of asking that wasn't to allow us to brag about our curriculum here on these calls. It was really about focusing on what's being taught here and why, because it's a missing component. And we're happy to receive the calls from you to help you through some of those day in, day out type things. But when you start to put together all the soft skills over a period of time, you'll see that you'll have a much more rounded business. I have another client that they have zero soft skills in their business and they can't figure out why they're not working together. They actually make money. They have a great product, but they've missed all the soft skills. So I'm trying to implement those. And what's interesting is most of the partners of the 5, 3 of them don't even understand what the soft skills are and how they play a role. And until they do, they won't find the success that they're capable of finding. So I just wanted everybody to realize that that's why we talk a lot about the soft skills. So I don't see any hands raised. I'm going to close with 2 things. Okay, as you look into the next year, what will help create that mindset is by having a sense of gratitude and gratefulness. That will allow you to start your day. I've talked about this before, but if you can start your day or end your day by saying out loud or writing down 3 to 5 things that you're grateful for, that will change your mindset, because you'll realize how good you actually have it and what a luxury we have living in the United States and having the ability to be entrepreneurs, have our own businesses, jump on calls like this to learn more, to collaborate, to have a community. There's so many things that we can be grateful for, which should set you up for success every single day. So while, as Rod said, stuff happens, when stuff is happening all around you, you can go about your day knowing that you're grateful for whatever your list looks like that day. And if you wrote them down, you could look back historically at all the things that you're grateful for and watch them evolve over time. So that's one thing. The second thing is, if anybody is interested in pursuing a 75 hard program, I would be happy to be your accountability coach. If you're in our group, I've got one person that I've been coaching through. He's on day 60 today, and it's getting pretty hard. That's about the hardest point of the whole program, is between 50 and 60. But if anybody's interested in that, I'm happy to help be their accountability partner to get them through that program. I've done it enough times. I know what to expect. So other than that, I want to wish everybody a happy and successful new year. We're going to be checking in and making sure that you're getting on the offense. That's going to be my theme next year. So you're going to hear that word a lot. I'm going to be questioning a lot and checking in with you all. And I hope that you have great stories to tell about where you're going in your business. So if you're live on the call tonight, thank you for checking in. Again, I know it's a holiday week. It's a pleasure to see those faces, and look forward to next week. Rod, thanks for your input. Appreciate it. You're on mute. You're still on mute.
Yeah. When we meet again, it's going to be a week from today. Next Tuesday, 6 o'clock, same time. It'll be brief again. And I'm going to be asking you about your chicken list, and kind of goes along with what we've talked about tonight. So let's go on the offense.
All right. Okay. Thanks, everybody. Have a great night. Good to see everybody. Bye-bye.
Good night.